Welcome back. The National Road Safety Council has kicked off its 2024-2025 road safety campaign in Tsumeb, targeting a reduction in road fatalities this festive season. Speaking at the launch, Deputy Minister of Works and Transport, Veikko Nekundi, pointed out that road user behavior is one of the leading causes of accidents. Running from November 15 to January 17, the campaign focuses on changing attitudes towards road safety. To unpack this further, we're joined by Mr. Ambrosius Tierspoor, who is the Head of Communications at the NRSC. Good evening and welcome, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. To start with, talk to us about what led to the launch of this year's road safety campaign.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Annually, around early weeks of November, we launched our festive season campaign so that we could run it over 2 months because we want to always target a time when everybody is back on the road to different destinations, especially before the closure of the schools. But this year we had to do it a bit earlier to target a date 1 week closer to the school holidays and also the elections. In the previous years, we basically be anything between 17th and 22nd of November, but this year we had to do it a bit earlier so that the law enforcement could be already deployed on the B1 and the B2 roads. Yeah.
The campaign is all about changing road user attitudes, and I think it's easier, sounds easier than of course it's done. So how do we start, or where do we start by achieving this?
Yeah. Previously, when I joined the National Road Safety Council back in 2007, we'd always have this hype of distributing t-shirts, caps with a message. But these days we are saying, while people put on the cap, they put on the t-shirt, and the attitude remains the same.
Right.
We decided to do sort of engagement, to engage the road users earlier, to be on the road earlier, not to distribute t-shirts or caps, but to also engage the road users right at the roadblock and at unofficial checkpoints. Because if we have a conversation with the road user, the person behind the steering wheel, there is better understanding in terms of the dangers on the road. Sometimes you find a driver maybe got his license 2 or 3 months back and has not been properly inducted. So we are saying we have to engage the road user because attitudes just don't change in 1 day, not in 1 year. It takes time to change. What the behavioral scientists say is that if you have learned a behavior for 10 years, it will take another 10 years for you to change because it has to, the efforts of change need to be consistent.
Right, right. Talk to us about the specific strategies, that this campaign will entail.
Yeah. Well, over the years, what we have realized is that the high visibility of law enforcement on the B1 and B2 roads really bring a good effect on behavior. Because I can tell you, just as a child, if he sees his teacher behaves better, a road user, a driver, pedestrian will behave better when he sees a law enforcement official on the road. So what we have developed over the years is to say at least every 100 kilometers there should be a visibility of law enforcement. But we have counted that to say at least between 50 kilometers between main town centers there should be law enforcement visibility. Because what people do is the moment they left law enforcement checkpoints, their behavior changes. And they always want to catch up of time between the 2 roadblocks, but it doesn't help really. Give or take, it's 2 or 3 minutes difference. What difference does it make? And if it even makes a more difference in your life, or you might not make it. And because of those key behavioral issues, you find that there's, if you look at the stats, you find a lot of rollovers, you find a lot of collisions, and you find a lot of pedestrian incidences, especially the urban centers of high number of people. That's the result. Yeah.
What impact are you hoping, Mr. Tierspoor, to see on road in terms of road fatalities during this campaign?
Well, if we as stakeholders do our job well, we have seen since, let me say, from 2016 onwards, we have seen a downward trend in terms of festive season statistics. Where, moreover, during the time of COVID, we are not praising ourselves, but we are saying, regardless of COVID, we have done well. You would see that since the 2020, 2021, 2021-2022 festive season campaigns, you have seen a remarkable reduction in fatalities, collisions and injuries. At one point in 2021-2022, we have seen 45% reduction in fatalities. It's huge. It means there was strong collaboration between stakeholders. And since 2020, I've seen stronger collaboration between stakeholders during the festive seasons. But that's not all that we want. We want throughout the year that strong collaboration to be there, given the availability of proper funding. Once the political will is there, the Road Safety Council is now better funded.
Yeah.
We can now have campaigns throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
Yes, here and there are pockets that needs to be filled, but the private sector always come on board, even during the festive season. Last year, the MVA fund, the fundraising raised over 2.something million, and we hope by tomorrow the private sector will come again on board, which they always do, to support road safety efforts.
Yeah. On the topic of collaboration, are there any partnerships or collaborations that have been formed to make this campaign a success?
Well, at this moment, up to Friday, it was practically the key government stakeholders, which you have your MVA fund, Road Fund Administration, the Namibian Police, and a bit of the private sector also from the Namibia Road Safety Forum, who also always participate in representing the private sector. But we always look at the representation in terms of the dollar. So we will hear from them tomorrow at the fundraising, how they will come on board. But the major collaboration is within the government entities, not excluding the excluding the Roads Authority, who contributes both financially and also of the resources in terms of the human resources on the road.
Well, Mr. Tierspoor, that's all the time we have, and we do appreciate your time here this evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be back after this very brief break to say